All right, hello, and welcome to training. Before we get started, just want to set a couple parameters for the training to help you get the most out of these videos and to get you off to a fast start and earning money as fast as possible. So, first thing you want to do is make sure you have the WhatsApp downloaded. Um, you should have gotten a request from either myself or someone on our team to upload or download the WhatsApp. So make sure you have that. We use that a lot for communication. It's very challenging. I try to keep my personal phone, my work phone, and then my other work phone. So WhatsApp is the best way to get in touch with me. Also, you should have already made a separate email or Gmail account. Please make sure it's a Gmail account that you're going to use for business purposes only. If you haven't done this already, please email hiring@brightfuturesinc.com, futures with an S, INC on the end. So that way we can get you hooked up with the drive and we can send you your agreements and all that kind of stuff. So please take time to do those two things right now if you haven't done so already. Okay. Just set up a Gmail and download WhatsApp. So as far as training goes, make sure when you're doing this training seminar, you want to, the training is very interactive. There's a lot of things in the training that I'm going to have you do. So it's not meant for you to just sit, watch the entire thing, and then just get started. Like you're gonna have to do things, you're gonna have to make a list, a warm market list, you're gonna have to make a dub video, you're gonna have to make your schedule and put that in there. So the goal is don't go on to the next video until you've completed everything that you're supposed to do on that particular video. The best way to get the most out of this training is to get it done as soon as possible. Pretend you had a job and you were working at a physical office. The way this training was designed. I used to do a 3-day training where people would come in and they would be there for 5-6 hours each day, and we would go through the training steps that you're going to see here that I've put on video. And at the end of day one, they had assignments to do, and day two, and day three. So we don't have a brick and mortar building, so you're doing this at home. But if you just, if you're lying in bed, if you have other distractions going on, if you run around to your kids, you got, your roommates or friends talking to you, your pets, like it's just, you want to treat this as if you were, hey, I just got a job, I'm going to work, I'm going to be there for 6 hours. You might even want to leave your house if it isn't conducive to you learning, and go somewhere where you can focus for the next for these videos, next day or two that it takes you to do this. So also the goal is to get it done as fast as possible. If you watch a video today and then another video tomorrow, it's like getting into a pool. All right, so you're excited now about the job. Obviously you've done, if you've spoken to me, and you're like, okay, I want to do this is something I can make some money in and I can be helpful to the environment, to the planet. But if you see, your excitement levels up. So it's like somebody getting in a pool. If you're excited to get in the pool and then you like dip your toe in the pool, you're like, oh my god, it's cold. And then you put your foot in and you step it out again, you're like, oh man, this is really cold. And you kind of inch in and inch in. By the time you get up to like your waist, you're like, this is too cold, I don't want to do it anymore, and you leave, right? um, so whereas, if you just run and jump into the pool, it's going to be cold for a minute, your whole body can be like, oh my god. And that's the way it's going to be with this job at first. Like, how do I do the computer, how do I get these people, get in touch with people, I got to make this video, you're going to have to do this a couple of times to make it look good, do I have the background right, whatever. And you're going to be doing all this stuff, and it's going to take a couple of, a day or two to get acclimated, depending on how fast you get in. If you jump in right away, then once you get acclimated, then it's easy. It's no problem. It's no problem. You get appointments pop up on your schedule, you go through your survey, you get the people to send the introduction, your introduction message at the end, and all of a sudden more surveys pop up on your schedule, and it's easy. So, but you got to get to that point, and so you got to dive in. So if today and tomorrow are your training days, you should be looking to do your first 5 to 10 surveys, the day after tomorrow, if you're going to do this over 2 days. All right, so you're going to be nervous at first. It's just normal, don't worry about it. That's why you start off with kind of people, one, so you can build out your circle, and also two, so you can just get used to it. And again, it's a survey, you read it. It's just a matter of getting used to timing and where to look for things and whatnot. So last thing here is, as far as get the most out of training, is just do everything that we teach you to do. I'm going to teach you literally these videos go through like soup to nuts. You might have to play the video a couple times. You might want to also, while you have this video open, open another browser, and then actually do the things I'm talking about as I'm talking to you. It's complete. By the way, you're going to have everything you need to do when you're talking to customers. You have notes going. You can't see them right now because you're looking at me. You might see that I'm reading. I'm using notes here. I'm going to share my screen right now so you can see. So as I'm doing training right now, I'm reading notes. All right. So, here's, getting in a pool, go ASAP, blah, blah, blah. So I'm reading notes just, which is completely fine, by the way. All right. When you're doing your surveys, you're going to be able to use notes. You're going to have the survey right in front of you while you talk to your customers. We'll show you how to do it, and totally cool. So to give you a little background on myself, I always like to kind of share where I came from really quickly. My name again is Matthew Washington. I started this company in 2016, so how many years ago that is at this time. I went to Rutgers University. I played college football. I was a walk-on. I ended up earning a scholarship. And then while I was in school, I got a job selling Cutco knives. And so I did that in my junior year of college. And then my senior year, I was promoted to an assistant manager. And then when I graduated, I was promoted to a branch manager. I was number one branch in the New York, New Jersey area, and number 2 in the region, number 20 in the country. And then I was promoted to a district manager. And I did that for years and years and years. During that time with Cutco and Vector, I've trained over 2,000 representatives to do in-home sales. Now, we're not going to be doing in-home per se with this job, but you're over the computer. It's the same thing, how to talk to people, how to deal with people. I was running an office in Brooklyn. I ran an office in Suffolk County. And then in 2013, I learned about Elon Musk, and through watching a TED Talk, and I was like, I watched the TED Talk on him talking about like Solar City and solar, and I was like, that is what I want to do. Like, I want to do that. So within 2 months of seeing that video, I found Solar City. I started working with them. Solar City merged with Tesla. I worked with Tesla for a while, and Tesla unfortunately decided to cut away all salespeople. So I now work for SunNation as of this video, and who actually sells Tesla Powerwalls still, and solar panels. And we also work with Power, which SunNation just works in Nassau and Suffolk County. Power works in 22 different states. So sometimes the sales, if you're not in Long Island, we'll be going through SunNation, and if not, we'll be going through Power. So that's just a background on me. And the point being is, I only tell you that quickly is just to say, so you know who I am, where I come from, and that I'm not just making this up as I go along. I've been working at this, perfecting this. If you saw how many videos and how many trainings and how many, the whole website I had to learn from scratch myself and putting it all together. And so point being is, there's been a lot of time and effort put into this to make sure that you can be successful. So I started Bright Futures because, well, you've already watched the videos on why we have Bright Futures, but it's just a way to get to people, get them information about solar, about renewable energy, its benefits, how it can benefit them financially, how it can benefit them, how it benefits the world, without actually, them feeling that they're in a sales situation where they're standoffish. So let me move into the mission statement of Bright Futures. So the mission statement here is to enrich people's lives by helping transition the world to renewable energy. And my goal is to create an organization that allows people to earn money, while helping, future generations. I'm an Andrew Yang fan. I love his slogan, "Humanity First." And that's kind of something I also agree with. And so right now we are at a tipping point. Like right now, we have a choice on what we want to do as far as energy. But the next generation, the next two generations down the line, I might not be here, but I don't think they will have a choice. I think they will have to just deal and cope with the decisions that we make right now. And so I think it's really important that we do the proper things to put humanity first, right? And so, and as much as I love our society and the environment, and making conscious decisions, right decisions as far as renewable energy, my mission statement started off with, I purposely placed it with enriching people's lives first, and through then transitioning people to a renewable energy, but enriching your life as a representative, enriching the lives of our homeowners. You, by the way, are the reason I started this company. And one of the things I loved about when I worked with the Knives, and the reason I stayed with them for 18 years, is I loved going on trips. I loved their events. They were motivational. I loved everything about that. And I wanted to create that again. And I love my paychecks. When they were good. So that's what I want to create here, and want to spread that out. And so everything we do here is, I call it a win-win-win situation, right? And the first person who wins is you. You win because you earn money. Don't be ashamed of that. It's okay to say, I want to make this much money. It's okay to, there's a saying that you can't help other people until you first are secure yourself. And the great thing about the organization that I've created here is, the more money you make, the better the company is doing, the better customers are doing. So how much money do I want you to make? Lots. I want you to do as many surveys as possibly can. I want as many proposals out as possible. There is no limit. There's no hours here. There's no, like, you don't have to come to me and say, hey, I want to do a couple more surveys. I'm like, I don't know. We don't have the funds for that. No, the more you do, the more we make as a company, and therefore we want you to do a lot. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a one-on-one at some point in your first week, and we're going to break down. We're going to say, okay, what is it that you want? In what time frame? Do you want to buy a car? Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to just have extra money for this or that? And we're going to say, here, make a list of things that you want, and then we're going to break it down and say, okay, well, here's how many surveys you'll have to do. Here's how many solar sales will come from those surveys, and here's how many appointments you'll have to do a week to hit that goal. All right, so that's what I want first. My first goal is for you. If you're making good paychecks, if you're happy with your situation here at Bright Futures, then obviously that means customers are going to be happy, and everything else is going to be happy. All right. So my first goal, make you win because you make a good amount of money. We want you to make money. And the only way that's done, though, is through you being accountable, you going out and getting the work done that we teach you. So the second win is our customers. Customers, survey takers, eventually they'll be customers when they switch over to solar. And the great thing about what we do is we help people. We are not, we're not selling people some diet program that may or may not work. We're not selling them some item they don't need, or and not to make fun of anything, hand cream, crystal. We're not doing anything. Like, we know that we're helping people. Like, they will lower their bills, especially with solar. If they decide to go solar, if they just take the survey, by the way, if people just take the survey, there's information in the survey that they wouldn't know, and it just benefits them to know this information. But especially if they switch to solar and they end up going solar, like, I'll go into more details about this later, and as you become a solar consultant, if that's a path you want to take down the line, you'll understand. But the simplistic way of how solar works is, let's say the customer has a utility bill for $200 a month. Our solar partners, will install a solar system, and the partner gets paid for it by the bank. All right. Now the customer doesn't put any money out of their pocket, and they now, depending on how many solar panels have to go on the roof, they'll have to pay the bank, back for the solar, right? But the solar is making the energy, so the $200 bill goes away, but now their payment to the bank will be maybe $125 to up to $175 a month, depending on the size of the system. So instead of paying $200 to the utility to just get a month of electricity, they're paying $125 to $175 to the bank to pay off their solar system, which is making their electricity. And eventually, like, this has to go on forever. Eventually, this payment will go away, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever they decide to do. And the solar system's theirs, and now they don't have any bill, right? So there's nothing out of pocket. They have a lower bill. It eventually goes away. They're actually buying something for their house. They're getting a solar system, which increases the value of their house versus just paying their utility. And and it's great for the environment. So how's that not a win for the customer, right? So And then the last win I just kind of mentioned is no matter how much money you make, no matter how much money we save the customer, the money's going to go away, right? Money comes, money goes. That's just kind of how it goes. One person, I remember reading a book, and the person said, you know, money is like, you know, finances are for everybody is it's like sometimes you're the window and sometimes you're the bug, right? So sometimes you're good financially, sometimes you're bad financially. It all wipes out. It all comes out in the wash at the end. But let's say, you know, but where the real win is no matter how much money we make, humanity wins. You know, we all win. Our kids win. You know, your kids in the future or will win, or your kids now will win. You know, the goal is what we do now will resonate later on. But let's you know, let's say you're watching this and you're like, you know, I don't really know if climate change is real. I don't think you'd be doing this job if you believe that. But let's say you're talking to someone who's like, yeah, climate change, it's a hoax. And let's say it was a hoax. Let's say, let's pretend, you know, the sea levels aren't rising from, you know, increased heat, and human activity has nothing to do with it. So why would this still be a good thing for humanity? Well, it's a simple fact. Eventually, we're going to run out of fossil fuel, right? Makes sense. So fossil fuels are there's no more dinosaurs, right? So they're not making any more oil, right? Anytime soon. So whether it's 10 years, 100 years, 200 years down the line, eventually we will run out of fossil fuels. And so we can't wait until fossil fuels start running out, be so dependent upon it in our societies. Like imagine like tomorrow, like all of a sudden all the like aliens came and zapped all the oil off of the planet, right? All our electricity, all of our transportation, you know, we would be set back so far. We're so dependent upon it. All right. So, and what would we do? We would then switch to solar, but it would take so long for us to get renewable cars and, uh, you know, electric cars, renewable energy on houses. It would take so long to do it. So we can't wait until it's a problem to then fix the problem. Like we have to see that that's a problem that's going to happen. Who cares when it's going to happen? It is going to happen. So we might as well start now switching over, right? Another thing is power grids are going to fail. It's too expensive to fix them. Okay, right now, you know, just this past year, California had shutdowns all across the state because of the fact that the power grid is not proper. It's not working properly, and so they had to actually shut people off of power. You know, and this is in America, in you know, first world nation. You know, on Long Island where I live, we have the oldest power grid in the entire United States. Right, we pay the third highest electric costs because we lose like 20% of the energy made at the power plant doesn't go through the wires. It's like trying to charge a cell phone with a bad wire, right? So they have to keep making more and more energy, burning more and more gas to get us the same amount of energy every year because the power grid was built in the 1920s and 30s, right? So that's a big thing. So we got to get off the grid. Um, by using renewable energy, another thing is we don't have to buy foreign fossil fuels, right? You want to stop terrorism, you want to stop wars, so we'll stop buying oil from countries that support terrorism. that would that would be a good way to end that, right? Um, the economy, you know, let's talk about that one. You know, even if you the Tesla, for example, has a gigafactory that they're still building it, they're using it, but they're building it as they're using it. It's 6 times bigger than Dallas Cowboy Stadium is the gigafactory. There'll be over 7,000 people, you know, 7,000 people working in that factory making batteries to you know, for the cars and for our homes. For solar, you know, when you talk about panel manufacturers that are in America, installers that are in America, you know, permit people that are in America, maintenance people, and all the other side jobs that have to go along with it. You know, all those jobs can't be outsourced. You can't outsource an installer job to you know, to India, all right, as far as that goes. Dealing with not only all the other jobs that have to come along with it, roofing, people make more money because people will now switch over to solar because they'll get their roof done because they're switching to solar, cutting trees or trimming trees, or trimming bushes. There's a lot of things, a lot of jobs that get created by solar. So these are all the other wins, and that's what we're about. For all these reasons, this is why we do what we do. Green energy is the future. The faster we move people towards that future, the brighter that future will be. Henceforth the name Bright Futures, right? So let's go over an agenda of what you're going to be seeing here, what you're going to be going through as far as these videos. So after this video, you're gonna watch some videos that are just gonna help you set up your account. So we use Zoom. What I'm using right now is called Zoom video conferencing. That's what you're going to be using to talk to your customers and through the computer. So you're gonna set up that account. We then use what's a company called 10 to 8. We might use a different by the time you watch this, but right now, currently, we're using 10 to 8, which is an appointment scheduling account. So we're going to do a video on how to set up your schedule, so that way people can set appointments into your schedule. Then you're going to set up a Dub Video account. So the little message that gets sent, it's a little link. So you're going to do a minute to 90-second commercial on yourself that you're going to send to your customers, that they're going to send to their friends through text or email. And then there'll be a little button, they can click it, go right to your schedule and set up a survey time. So as far as that goes. We're going to then go through how to kick off your survey correctly, right? How to share your why, who you are, break down your goals, share these things with your customers. That's what makes them exciting. That's exactly what I just did a minute ago, right? Then we're going to go through your survey, like actually how to do the survey, and just some tips on setting that up and doing it. Then there's a video on how to ask for introductions. You're going to actually make that little Dub video I talked about, and how to actually ask people the proper way to send out that introduction text message or email. Then we're going to go through your agreements. We'll go through the pay again, so you understand the pay clearly. We'll go through your agreements that you'll sign off on. That's the next video, and then we're going to do a video on how to set up your initial appointments, like how to get started with your warm market, how to make some phone calls, or either send your messages to that group and building your warm market. And then there's a wrap-up video, and then you're ready to go. So by the end of training, you'll be ready to start, okay? We will cover everything you need to know to do the job. So like I said, you will be a little nervous at first. I know how you feel, all right? I practiced this, I've done this myself, I've gone through the entire training myself, I've done the actual job myself, and it's weird, it's funky. The reason why I've done it so many times now that I've made changes and upgrades to it, because I went through it, the training, and did everything that you're going to do. I've actually done the actual survey with people. So in the beginning, you're going to need help. All right. We're going to give you a lot of support. I'm going to give you support. I'm going to be talking to you. It's not like just because you're watching me on the computer right now, it doesn't mean I'm just like a floating head, whatever. We'll be talking, we'll be setting up one-on-ones, and we'll be going through and making sure that you can be successful. So obviously you want me to work with you and help you be successful. So obviously there's some expectations on you though, if you're going to be successful. So first thing is dress for success, right? People judge you how you look. You're a reflection of the company, you're a reflection of the team. If the way you look, the better you look on the camera, the more serious they'll take you. All right. So, polo shirt, is fine. Equivalent for women. I don't understand women's clothing. But also just be aware of your background. Okay. So I have my bookshelf here, and I just made sure my background. Some of the videos you'll see, I found a nice wood wall background to be using. Right, you shouldn't be lying in your bed. People are going to be seeing you. You're going to see your face. Right, don't have your little brother making faces behind you. All right, so you can actually go outside. Outside actually works if it's nice where you live and it's a nice day outside. You can totally go outside. You might get a barking dog or whatever, but outside will work as well. So just be aware of how you look when you're talking to people. Next up shouldn't be said, but obviously no swearing when you're on the call with the customer. People judge you based upon how you speak. Customer can swear, that's fine. You shouldn't be swearing, so that's pretty obvious. Next up, very important, be on time. Right? If you have a call at 2 o'clock, you have to call at 2 o'clock. All right, 1:59 to 2 o'clock. All right. You can't be late. All right. So in the world of video conferencing, if you're 2 minutes late, then they're like, we didn't think you were going to call us. All right. So if you have appointments set in your schedule, you've got to make sure that you're calling. There's going to be an automatic text reminder that's sent an hour before to the customer to remind them that they have an appointment going with you. So if your prior survey is running a little bit long, you can totally text, even while you're talking, you can text a customer, the next customer, saying you're going to run a little late, but you got to be on time to your appointment. It's really important. People are taking a survey. They want to make sure that they set up a time that you're on time. Next up is have a positive attitude. This is probably the most important one. You can't be successful being negative. WhatsApp and our conference calls, we call those the bubbles of positivity, right? It's just you have to have what I call a how can I attitude versus a what if attitude. All right. So the way the mind works is that if you ask yourself how can you do things, then your mind has no your mind. Anytime you ask your mind any question, your subconscious has no choice but to then answer that question. Right. So, and you ever done this before? You're sitting, you're talking to someone, and you're like, oh, what's the name of that actor in that movie? Oh man, it's the guy. He's like yelling all the time. Right? And you can't think of the name, right? And then like 5 hours later, you're eating dinner and you're like, Samuel Jackson, right? It just pops in your head, right? So why did that happen? You weren't consciously thinking about it, but your subconscious kept working on the problem. So if you ask yourself positive questions, then your subconscious is going to come up with positive answers, right? And how can I is a positive question. Like how can I get an A? Right, in a class, if you're a student, right? It's like, well, how can I? Well, I got to study this person, I'll do this, I got to take extra time, I got to do, you know, maybe I'll get in a study group, maybe I'll go to the office hours, okay? And you'll ask yourself the right question. Versus if you ask yourself, well, what if I fail this class? What if I fail this class? If I fail this class, you know, my GPA is going to go down. I might not be able to get into the program I want. Oh, my parents are going to kill me, this and that. And you're just focusing on the negative things as opposed to the positive things, right? You know, how can we win this game versus what if we lose this game? Could you imagine? Can you imagine that? You know, 3 seconds left in the game. You know, we're getting ready to the ball. Here's the play we're going to run. Everyone hands in. Let's go. Let's make it happen. And you're the person who goes, "Hey, coach, you know, what if this doesn't work?" Okay, like what? Like get out of our huddle, get on the bench. How about that? All right. So how can I make my business successful versus what if my business fails? All right. So this company, I'm paying all the survey pay that I'm paying you. I am paying that out of my own pocket, you know, without knowing if you're going to be successful. But I know that if I work hard enough and I work with you and you follow these programs, then it will be successful, right? So I just say, well, how can I be successful? And it's not successful. I'm going to figure out what it is that makes it happen, right? So versus me sitting around going, what if? Oh my God, what if these people? What if no one buys any solar panels? I'm gonna run out of money, right? I don't focus. I don't think the president of Coca-Cola wakes up every morning and goes, what if everybody buys Pepsi? Oh, right? No, they go, how can we sell more Coca-Cola, right? So it's the same thing here, right? You know, how can I uh, do a better survey and get it quicker, get it better, or how can I get 10 introductions every single time? How can I get a $2,000 paycheck? All right, so ask yourself the how can I questions. All right, so if you ask yourself the right questions, then you'll find the right answers. And along with that, you have WhatsApp, you have the group chat, you have, you know, we're going to have our weekly meetings that you can jump on, the conference calls. You know, as far as that goes, you know, we have a group chat for a reason. It's called the bubble of positivity, right? So anything that good happens, we post it on that group, right? So you can ask questions on that group chat, but we don't have any negativity. There's no pity parties on that group chat, right? So if you want to be negative everywhere else in the world. The whole world is negative, but we have these little bubbles of positivity. Okay, so really important. All right, and the last expectation I have of you is, you know, get your work done and then have fun. All right, this job it's not easy, but it's simple. All right, if you work hard, if you do the things you need to learn, if you learn the things you need to do, if you execute them, if you follow your schedule, if you make your schedule, you're going to do well. All right, whether you know, every person who has a home can take the survey. Everyone lives in a house somewhere, so an apartment building or something like that. But everyone knows someone who lives in a house. All right, so if they live in a house, they use electricity, great. There's an opportunity to get a survey done. There's infinite amount of people. Well, in America, there's 200 million people you can do surveys for. All right, so that's just how it goes. Remember, effort beats talent every day, every time. If you're shy, if you're not good with computers, it doesn't matter. Just it's a survey. You read it, and then there's a little thing at the end. You read, you send a text to them, and you have them, and you work on a video. You can do your video 70 times to get it the way you want it to, if you want to. All right. If you're going to do it once and it's sloppy and you're like, whatever, then you know that effort's not going to be there. All right. So you need to put the effort in. All right. So let me wrap up with this 3 keys to success, and then I'll let you move along and get into the actual meat and potatoes. But so number one key to success here is follow the program. You know, the fastest way from one point to another is a straight line, and our straight line is the program. Like I said, I've trained over 2,000 people to do presentations to customers, and I've done it myself for years. 18, 19, 20 years I've been in homes working with people, dealing with customers. I personally have switched over 196 homes to solar myself, over 6 years of doing it. I was doing in-home sales for, since I was in college, and dealing with people. So don't try to reinvent the wheel. Once you've mastered the techniques that I'm teaching you, then you can then start improving on them. All right. But there's a saying, you should learn, but don't say, well, I got it, I'm going to just do this. It's pretty simple. I understand what to do. I'm going to do it on my own. There's a saying, you should learn from your mistakes. That's a bad saying. Don't do that. Learn from other people's mistakes, right? I've been doing this for now, since 2016. Having reps have made mistakes, changing the program, myself doing it, seeing errors, fixing them, making it better, improving on it. Don't start from scratch. Why start from scratch? Why make mistakes that we've already made, and just take the answers? Like, here's the answers. I'm going to give you the answers to the test. Don't try to figure it out. I got the answers right here. Right. So some of the things you learn, by the way, you might feel uncomfortable doing at first. Do them anyway. Okay. Like, I'm not teaching you things that don't work. I'm not teaching you, like, hey, here, let me waste your time and teach you something that doesn't work. So you'll get more comfortable as you become more confident, as you become better at what it is that you're doing, then you're going to become more comfortable with it. All right. So follow our program. Number two, speak with enthusiasm. All right. So there's a saying is to think globally and act locally. All right. So we are doing something that's really awesome. Every single person, I love the fact that I have 196 people I've switched over to solar. That means I've taken like 780 metric tons of CO2 gas out of a metric ton is about the size of a 2-story house. Metric tons of gas of fossil fuel, or carbon dioxide, I should say, does not go into the atmosphere because of the work I've done over the last 6 years. I take a lot of pride in that. That's awesome. All right. So understand enthusiasm. The difference between enthusiasm and excitement. Okay. Like, I'm not a really excited person, but I'm enthusiastic. I care about what I'm doing, So you don't have to be jumping around like a cheerleader, but you need to have a strong goal. All right. Really have a mission. And whether that mission is, to help the environment, whether that mission is to pay for college, whether that mission is to, pay for bills and buy your first house, whatever it is, so, the example of enthusiasm versus excitement, right? So, hi, Miss Jones, like, you start your presentation off, hi, Miss Jones, let me just take a minute to explain, why I do this job. I'm working, I'm paying tuition for college. So, so let's get into the survey. Versus someone saying, Miss Jones, thank you so much for taking the time to do the survey with me. I am working like 7 days a week to try to get 20 appointments done to pay college on my own. And so anyone you introduce me to at the end of this, really helps me out. One of my goals is to cut the financial umbilical cord from my parents, and just never ask them for money again. And eventually, obviously, pay them back for what I'm doing. So all I gotta do is 20 appointments each week. I so appreciate it. I got 18 more to go after you. So let me dive into the survey. Okay, so enthusiasm, that's one of the things I used to say, by the way, when I was a college student. So not for surveys, obviously, for selling the knives, but there's a difference in enthusiasm and really caring about what you're doing versus people get into it. People get into causes. People want to see people who are driven for something and really want something, as opposed to someone who's just going through the motions, right? So be enthusiastic. And number three is practice, 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 right? While you watch training, like I said, open the second browser, actively do what it is that we're telling you to do. Again, you're going to feel awkward at first. So the more you practice, the more you do it. Like, even me right now, I'm like kind of looking at my notes, and I keep saying to myself, I got to look at the camera, right? So look up, because I'm not really good at doing it, but you get better at it, and you practice it, and you get better and you get better. So don't get discouraged. All right. This job, it's like if you go to a gym, people get excited and I'm going to start going to the gym. And the first week they go to the gym, how do your muscles feel? Like, it's like, oh my God, I can't do this. It's so hard. You're walking around all funny, and people, you can't straighten your arms out. But if you give up right there, then what's going to happen. That soreness, you did it for nothing, right? Because then you're going to lose all the gains that happen. But if you just keep going, if you keep going consistently, then your muscle, you're not going to feel sore anymore, right? You don't get as sore. than you do that first week when you first started. So it's the same thing with this. The more you practice, the more you do it, the more you dive in, the better you're going to get at it, the easier it's going to become. And it's really that simple. But you gotta start off putting that effort in the beginning. All right. So cool. Let me wrap up with welcome to the team. If at any time during the training you're going through a video and you have a question or you don't understand something, send an email, shoot me a WhatsApp. If I'm available, I'll even jump on a Zoom with you and I can share screens and I can walk you through anything, or somebody on our team might be able to do so as well. Do not be afraid to ask for help, but get to work, figure it out. You'll be great, and yeah, and then I'll talk to you in our one-on-one. But good luck with training. All right, talk to you in the next video.